So all of our speakers today have shown us just how much we all rely on Antarctica and our polar ecosystems, and that our fossil fuel driven society and economy cannot continue like business as usual. So I'm now very happy to welcome Daniele, a PhD physics student and activist with Scientists Rebellion. And if it's not clear already, Daniele is going to show us exactly why we need a climate justice revolution. Come on stage.
Woo!
Hi, thank you for having me. Hello.
Hello!
Hi, I am Daniele from Scientists Rebellion, and I am a physicist, yeah. Scientists Rebellion is an international group of scientists, academics, students and supporters who walk the talk. Because everything else has failed in terms of the fact that emissions are still rising and ecosystems are still being destroyed. Therefore, Scientists Rebellion engages in peaceful civil disobedience. We researchers have been essentially warning about the consequences of climate and ecological breakdown for 30 years. Basically, I will shorten this to the sentence, we are driving the planet against a wall right now. And without a speed limit, no one in power is truly listening. 40% of current fossil fuel reserves need to stay in the ground to not bury 1.5 degrees, which we simply cannot consider alive anymore under the current business as usual. It means half of the world oil, gas and coal infrastructures are now outdated assets. These words are not mine. These are among the thousands of words in the scientific literature calling for radical and immediate change to avoid climate collapse. We have been writing for far more than 30 years. The first version of the Limits to Growth was actually published in 1972. So, our hopes have been disproven. It is not enough to just inform and create knowledge to produce chance. And indeed, even today, there is belief among politicians and also groups concerned about Earth system breakdown that change is only possible when everyone is educated on the topic. But the federal government has a responsibility to lead. We live in a representative democracy in which representatives of the people have the responsibility to build informed and more informed than the rest of the people, because they are more closely linked to the experts. If a huge asteroid hurtles toward Earth, we would expect the government to point the rocket system at this asteroid far before everyone is in the street screaming for actions. We no longer have the time at all to inform the population nationwide by civilian means, with lectures and talks and purely performative actions. The ones who understand the danger of Earth system breakdown and political inaction share the responsibility to disobey in the daily business as usual. We must act peacefully, but determined in civil disobedience to demand the necessary change now. Change at a scale and speed that can only be described as a revolution. I see again and again that people tend to evaluate civil disobedience or its chances of success according to their gut feeling. Although there is now a lot of literature and even more modern examples of success than the civil rights movement. I can think of university occupations, for example, which are always very successful. If we had 1,000 scientists in civil resistance in the streets, politicians would have to react. Well, 1,000 is really a big number, but it is incredibly small compared to the 10 or 100,000 of people who sign petitions, go to demonstrations, who work for NGOs. Do not take me wrong, informing is super important. But the ratio of the number of people who inform versus those who actively resist is simply totally inappropriate for the year 2022. You could ask me, what do we ask for concretely? What is the claim? Well, we must change our economy by scaling down less necessary parts in order to reduce excess energy demand. Commercial air travel, industrial beef, fast fashion, advertising, the military-industrial complex, and so on. We need to focus the economy on what is required for human well-being and ecological stability. Universal public health care, housing, education, transport, water, so that everyone has access to the resources they need to live well. We imagine cities that are meant for humans, not for cars, with good bike and walk infrastructures. People and nations should be able to decide to rely on sustainable energy sources without big corporations lobbying for fossil fuels. This requires public investment, but it also requires labor and new jobs. There is a lot of work to do. We can do it. Furthermore, we can ask to cancel the debt in the Global South to promote and help funding sustainable development. This is an ambitious yet feasible goal promoted by the initiative Debt for Climate and sustained by Scientists Rebellion. After World War II, debt cancellation has been for Germany the engine of a powerful change. We can make a more sustainable world possible by enabling most affected countries to invest in real green economy, far from the deception of greedy companies. A fair share approach to climate justice will require us, the rich countries, to eliminate most fossil fuels used by no later than 2030, maybe 2035, to give poorer countries more time to transition. The next months in Germany will be full of events, from the pre-conference of Park meeting to G7. Let's not fall for greenwashing our mental hygiene by telling ourselves we are already doing enough. We must speed up change to avoid the wars which could be drifting uncontrollably towards hot Earth. Again, we are out of time. The scientific community, who is very well informed about the scale, speed, and the permanence of Earth system breakdown, has the responsibility to play a leading role in civil resistance. Let's step forward together and demand change now. If the world level rises, we shall rise too. Thank you.